Torah.
That's right.
Okay.
Who else is doing that?
Holding Pinchas.
Well, the question I'm struggling with is, because it happens in today's life. You see something, you think you're standing, you really believe you're standing up for the Torah or something that's really right, but because it would involve to correct, like the story of the spinning. It took it's so out of the box. How do you know? I mean, how do you know? You believe it inside that this is the right thing. That's how you know.
The guy's a Jewish missionary.
Right.
There's not a question.
That's what Pinchas was experiencing. He
A person adds milk to a pot of meat, and he serves it to people who keep kosher. It's black and white. It's not a question. It's not a question. Not only Pinchas, already, that's last week's parsha. He went to Moshe Rabbeinu, and he says, "You taught us kano and pogamo. He's supposed to be killed." He says, "I did teach you that." He told him it's halacha mishmi Sinai. He says, "Maybe you should do it." He says, "No, because you remembered it and I didn't. The tashkoch is you should be the one to do it." So there was no question in Pinchas' mind that he was doing 1,000,000% the right thing. But do you have the courage to do it? You know, a level of courage you have to stand up and nosi. Everybody's opposed to you. It's irrelevant. You couldn't care what. That's kavod shemayim. You go finish regardless. Now that was Pinchas. So Vish Kozvi Basur, the Torah identifies her as Rosh Umos Beisav B'Midjanu. Her father was the head of the Beisav of the different families, the princely families of Midjan. So Rashi says Rosh Umos. Echad Michameshis Malchi Midjan. There were 5 kings, like vassal states in Midjan. Es Evi, Ves Reki, Ves Chur, Es Tzur. V'choshev Mikulam. Among all the kings, these vassal kings, he was the greatest of all of them. Shenemar, how we identifying her? She's Rosh Umos. But because he disgraced himself by letting his daughter be involved in this kind of thing, Mono Shlishi is counted as the third. Beisav, Chamesh Bati Ovasoy Lemidjon Efor Chanoch Vidu Veldo Zoy Melech Lechabens. It's interesting. Originally, he was the greatest, but yet, because he did this, he was minimized by the Torah. Because he did such a Torah. What did it make? There's a guy, the guy's a pagan. Man is whatever it is. Initially, you counted number 1, you reduced to number 3. He's counted. What does that mean? Firstly, how long did it last? I mean, soon after the story, they destroyed Midian anyway. You know? Mean that in the annals of history, you're going to be counted as 3. Doesn't mean that. So I once said, not regarding to something else, we find that Ephron had ayin hara. Ephron was the most machloek to Avraham Avinu, because it says when he asked for a tremendous amount of money, when he saw his wealth, he had the ayin hara, and Ephron, to indicate that he had ayin hara, Ephron's written choser, without the yud. So Chazal say that the gematria of Ephron without the yud is ayin ra. 400 and Ephron is the sword, same gematria, numerical value, ayin ra, and it's written choser. Until then, it was written moli with the yud. Therefore, what? The answer is anything that's mentioned in the Torah, it's part of eternity. You know what it means to be mentioned in the Torah in a certain way? It's special. To be mentioned with an extra yud without the yud, that itself is what? That's a level of disgrace and condemnation forever. The Torah is like, he's counted as, first he was number 1, he's counted as 3 because of his behavior. This is for Netzach Nitzochim, for posterity beyond, for eternity, because you're mafkir, bitol is nus, therefore, you're number 3. But it's as part of Torah, number 3. The Torah calls a person a Rosh. You know what it means? The Torah calls a person a Rosh. Somebody, we call him a Rosh, he's a Rosh, whatever it is. But that it should be inscribed in the Torah, which is Torahs Hashem, which is Netzach Nitzochim. There's nothing worse than that. That's what it is. It's irrelevant whether he cares, whether he doesn't care. It's irrelevant. He doesn't care. Novi said he's not coming. He came. It must have been the breakfast. It must be the breakfast. Rabbi, I'm telling you, man, you give me a bloated head. I know I wasn't a prophet, but yet I don't know. Maybe I have certain powers. Okay. Okay, just a little further. Vayidaber Hashem al Moshe Lemot Tzoror es hamidyonim. How does he interpret the word tzoror? Tzoror es hamidyonim. Meaning you should pain them, you should harass them. What? Antagonize. Meaning you should harass them, vahikisim osam, and you should smite them, destroy them. Why? Ki tzorim heim lochem v'nichleim ashenichlem al dvar pa'or. Because they ensnared you with their ensnarement with the dvar pa'or. Val dvar kozbi bas nisi midyan achosam muka b'yom ha'magif al dvar pa'or. Two things. Firstly, they ensnared you to Baal Pa'or with all their machinations. That was the whole story. They sent out the women. The Gemara in Sanhedrin says, beautiful women, these shiksas. They came out. They were naked. And the temptation was overwhelming. And they were offered their bodies. But when the Jew was aroused, they took out their avodah zarah. First this, then we talk about the next. So it was al dvar pa'or. That was the thing. And then, in addition, kozib bas nisi midyan achos muka. Well, why isn't the first thing enough? Because again, that displays the hate. You'd say the women, they're a bunch of whatever they are. Zonos. Prostitutes. Not prostitutes. It was al dvar pa'or. It wasn't they had a temptation for the men. It was all a ploy to get them to do the avodah zarah. Rashi, Kitzor mem lochem al dvar pa'or shifkiru benosem lisnus kedei latosam acha behor. The reason why they're willing to give their daughters away for znus, kedei latosam, to mislead you, to bring you in, to draw you into Baal Pa'or. There's Moav lotziv lahashmid. When Moav, there would be no Moav. Why Midyan? Right? The women who actually tempted them with Baal Pa'or, there would be no Moav. Because ultimately, it's Rus HaMoviyah. They would have destroyed Moab. There's no Rus. Just thought of something phenomenal. I just thought of it first time in Balak. Who was Balak's granddaughter? Rus was Balak's granddaughter. Balak Melech Moab. Where is such a Chevraman? How does he merit to have such a granddaughter? Rus, she's the grandmother of David HaMelech. Melech Mashiach comes from her. Where do you have such a schus? So the Gemara says that because when he built the Mizbachos to have the Jews cursed, and he brought those korbanos l'Hashem, from there we learn B'toch shlo l'shmo b'lo shmo. Yeah, he did it shlo l'shmo, but because he brought the korbanos l'Hashem, although he was a pagan, in the schus of that, so from there we learn B'toch shlo l'shmo b'lo shmo. You got it? So the objective was destroying Klal Yisrael. So what was the outcome of it? You say, it's ineffective. The objective is that the ultimate bittul hara at the end of time will come because of those mizbachos. You hear this? He built it to curse the Jews, to take good, Kavod Shemaim, out of existence. And what was the outgrowth of that? Melech Mashiach, which will destroy everything that's ra. No, it's the extreme contrary, opposite of that. Okay? What was the whole idea of what? Of the B'nos Moav? Elokeim Shelu Sonam Zima. Hashem will destroy it. If not for the act of Pinchas, well, there'd be no Klal Yisrael. So because of his act of zealotry, there is a Klal Yisrael. Okay? So now, we exist. What should we do to Moav? Moav nearly destroyed us. We should annihilate them. But because there's halacha b'toch shlo l'shmo l'shmo, Balak has to be rewarded. Right? He has to be rewarded. Hashem cannot deny Balak his schar. What's the schar? Rus, that's the schar. You understand? Really, Moab would have been destroyed. So let Rus not be the one. So there won't be a Rus. Melech Mashiach will come from somebody else. That because Balak is deserving of what he had done, that he brought Karbonis Lashem, although it was Shlo Lishma to curse the Jews, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Eino Kadosh Baruch Hu, Kabech Scharko Beria, there has to be a Rus. So if there has to be a Rus, a whole nation survives because Toch Shloshma Bolushma. It's unbelievable. Yeah, Yossi, it was worthwhile for you to come, although you'd read it in your emails that you get, just for this. Okay. Whatever it is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu already, he determined that. That was the value. First, he was a pagan king. Balak, he brought kabbalas to Hashem, those kabbalas. It was, even though it was with an ulterior motive, it was, definitely was Hashem. Korban's Hashem, no question. Doesn't make a difference. You want to curse the Jews, this is the way we get God's attention. Bring korbanos. Do me a favor, the batteries in the cabinet, the battery has to be changed. And you know where the cabinet, you walk into the office, right in front of you, open up to see AA batteries or AAA batteries. What? No, it's not the ultimate mitzvah, but just the opposite. We learn from that. Even a mitzvah that's done with the wrong intent, even that has such infinite value. Person comes to Yad from early because he knows he'll be embarrassed. I'll embarrass him if he doesn't come. Is he coming for the right reason? He should be come here with a motorcycle. It comes with a bike. It takes him an extra 15 minutes. That's what he said this morning. Right? I wasn't expecting you, but yet you showed that. That's lishma. Okay, let's see the morale. Shrovid means rock. That's a verb. That's a noun. There's a verb. Must have. Could be because not because when you a rock. How do you antagonize? Shrovid means you should harass them. You know, you break their bones. So the rock you would. Evan. No, see, what's your Vartor on Evan?
Yes.
See that? Evan. Right? Okay.
A long time ago.
Okay. Rabbi, I don't forget anything you say, I don't forget. That's the impression.
I think it was good.
Yeah. I found it in.